Hello everyone, Jennifer Maker here. Today I will have an illuminating topic to shed some light on. LED lights for your DIY projects. LEDs can make a world of difference in your projects. The right light can change something boring to something amazing. So first things first, what are LEDs anyway? Well, LEDs, which stands for Light Emitting Diodes, are small energy efficient devices that emit light when an electrical current passes through them. My little Christmas tree right here is lit up with an LED. These tiny little powerhouses come in various shapes and sizes, making them perfect for all kinds of projects. DIY projects, craft projects, home projects, so many things. And most importantly for us, LEDs provide light without creating heat that might become a fire hazard. So incandescent lights, like those old-fashioned Christmas bulbs that we all, or some of us had when we were kids, and real candle flames are a huge no-no when it comes to our kind of projects, right? Often we have paper. We don't want a flame next to paper. So we use LEDs, which we can do safely. And the great thing about using LEDs is that they are bright. LEDs produce vibrant and eye-catching colors. They're also energy efficient, meaning they won't drain your batteries or break the bank with electricity drains, right? Plus, they last a lot longer than traditional bulbs too, which is perfect for the projects that we want to keep for a long time. And of course, the best part is that LEDs stay cool to the touch, right? So like little tea light here, I can't even actually feel heat. There's going to be a tiny little bit, but this is actually cool to the touch, this little light here. And that makes them safe for all projects and ages. Now, there are a few downsides to LEDs too. They can be a bit pricey depending on which ones you get. That sometimes they're actually a great price, but they can be more. And if the LED lights that you have are battery operated, the batteries do eventually run out and have to be replaced. Like this morning, as we're preparing to do this video, we're like, oh my gosh, our batteries are out. People are running off to the store to get batteries. I'm sure you all know exactly what I'm talking about, right? But the big issue that I hear you all struggle with is to know which LEDs to get for which project. This is probably one of the top 10 questions I get about DIY and crafting and LED lights. So let's talk about the options for LED lights to help you choose the right lights for the best effect. And by the way, all the LED lights that I'm going to show you today are linked in my list at right here on the screen, jennifermaker.com/LED lights. So you can find exactly what I'm using, all of them, everything. Okay. So I'll just leave that on the screen as we go along. Okay. So first up are LED tea lights. These little gems, which you can get usually for like under $1 each if you get them in bulk, mimic the soft flickering glow of real candles without the fire hazard, right? So these are really cool. Many of you have used these, right? They're great for decorating your handmade lanterns and other small things. They can be steady. Do we have any steady ones here? Or flickering. I think these are all flickering. Yes, they look like they're all. But you can get them where they actually just don't flicker at all. And they're usually warm lights, which I'll show you. These here on the left are this warm, like kind of yellowish color, but you can also get them in a cool white too, right? Which is more of a white, so you can see that. And I can actually turn my lights down. So sometimes these tea lights do come with remote controls, but more often they do not. And the best thing about LED tea lights is that you can place them wherever you need them without worrying about strings or cords, right? So they fit right behind things. I can just position them, right? And they'll go into small lanterns and behind things like this for illumination. And if they're visible, right, like if you can see them, they look nice because they look like little candles, right? So this one is just like a little disc, but it looks like a little candle. This one is it's got more of a shape to it, right? As if the wax is melted on it or something, right? So they come in different varieties. The biggest downside to LED tea lights is that they are just a single LED. Usually, this is just one little LED in here. And that means they really aren't all that bright. They look great when the room is dark. Right now, most of the lights are off in this room, but otherwise they may not be that noticeable, but they're really nice. So like here is, this is our village, right? And with the warm light, and here is the cool light. So see, it's really interesting, right? Now keep in mind that these villages do have the diffusion layer on them. This one here does not have that layer on the back. So what you see when you put it over that is see how it doesn't have the same glow, but you can, because it's just a candle in the back, it's not really a big deal. It kind of looks like it makes sense, right? Not all lights will look that way, but that is one of the advantages of an LED fairy light, or an LED tea light. These are our tea lights. The next one are LED fairy lights. I have some here and I have some here. So these delicate and enchanting little lights, that's why they're called fairy lights, are perfect for adding an inexpensive, really touch of magic to your crafts, in my opinion. I love fairy lights. They don't cost very much. You can get them for under $1 each in a bulk pack. So this is a fairy light. See, it's so little LEDs, which are really quite bright, and they're on these strings. And the strings are usually silver, right? So they're not very noticeable. Now they're almost always battery operated. So they have like a little battery in the back here. And like a little, you can replace them because we do run out our lights. So they're really good for small things. I think they're really pretty easy to get and use. Many people use them. And I like to use these for small and contained projects, such as our star ornament. So let me show you. Let's set these aside here so you can, this is one of the packagings that comes in. So they do kind of have a mind of their own too. You'll find it's harder to position them. But so we have used them in our star ornament here, and it's actually really easy to use. You just sort of put them in. You just put them into this hole here in the back, and then you can just turn them on like this, and you have this beautiful glow, right? Now, things to watch out for when choosing fairy lights are to watch for their length. You don't want, like, usually you don't want a 100-foot long one. Maybe you do, but you want the length to be appropriate to your project. These lights here, this is the same light, and it's the same one that's in my list right here. And the other thing you want to watch for is their color. So cool white, which is what we see here. This is cool white versus warm white, right? Now you're like, well, what does it matter? And I think it's a really good thing for us to talk about. So let's do that. So let's set these over here like this. Right. Okay. So, in fact, let me demonstrate real quick. I think I can do it with this one. This one has a light in here, but I might actually be able to just put our white light in here. So a lot of people have been asking me, how do you do this? And like, it's so easy. You literally just put your lights in like this. You just kind of shove them in the back, right? It's a really simple thing. It's not complicated. You just put them back in here like this. I know there's already lights in there, but I want to show you these white lights. So they just go in here like this, and they kind of, because it's on a stiff wire, they tend to like space themselves out as you're doing it. And then you can glue the battery pack on the back, okay? So for anything that's small like this, I really like that. Okay, so move that aside so we can see. So this is cool white. And this is warm white, right? So you can see the difference. So a cool white it's a little bit clearer. It's also, I'd consider, a bit more modern. Whereas the warm white is cozier. It looks more like flame colored, right? And it's obviously a yellow light, right? So cool white versus warm white. Most of you probably have noticed that I prefer the warm white. It like gives everything this like rosy, happy, warm glow. So I will usually use the warm white, but you can use cool white if that is what goes with your decor or your mood or your project. Okay. Alrighty. So our next project, our next LED light is these. These are LED spotlights, sometimes called battery-operated puck lights, but spotlights is, I think, what the manufacturer's term. So these are battery-operated LED spotlights that have several LEDs in them, about 10, and they're all concentrated in this puck shape, right? So they're self-contained little things, and they're like usually in this clear plastic like this. They're usually waterproof, and they're often used for things like lighting up your pumpkins or putting in a pond or whatever, but I found them really, really useful for many of my DIY projects. These spotlights are about $5 and up if you get them in bulk, and they're a step up from the fairy lights because they are brighter and you can control the color. So they usually have a remote control. It looks like this. Here's the on button. Ta-da! Okay, so we've got red. You can see that it's got a control here for a variety of different colors. I know it's very dark in this room, so forgive me. So we're on red right now, but let's change it to blue. You have to point it at it, but it's pretty cool, right? Here's a yellow, like a warm color. There's just white here, right? So this is really cool because you're not just limited to warm or cool light, but rather you get lots of light for them. And this is, I think, really useful because then you can change the colors to match your project or your mood. You can even adjust the brightness with the remote control. So I know it's a little bit dark here. I can switch the lights back on so you can see. So on the remote, which looks like this, I should probably switch between the lights. You can go brighter and dimmer. So I really like to use these because they're so bright and they're just all really nicely contained. They're really very bright. And I believe, yes. So here is our lantern, right? And this has one of those lights in it. So, and you can see how pretty this is. Let's move these aside. I'm going to set this like this so you can see. Not confuse our remotes. Here's the remote for this one. So right now it's blue. So I love this turquoise blue, but we can make it like Christmas green. We can make it purple. We can make it orange. All sorts of things. This is my favorite though. So these are really, really cool. You've seen me craft with these many times, but they are a good option so long as it fits inside, right? Because it is definitely larger than a tea light. But these are brighter than both tea lights and the fairy lights, right? Okay, so if you're using a tea light or a fairy light and it doesn't seem bright enough, move up to these. Okay. All right, next up is something that looks a little like the spotlights I showed you, but these are actually night lights. Let's move everything aside here. Okay. So next up are our night lights. So they look like the LED spotlights they just showed you, but they concentrate their LED light along a slit along the top, so you could insert something into it and illuminate it really nicely. For example, here is one of our acrylic discs, and it's perfect for edge lighting. Let's make that look right there. So see how it does that? So there's LEDs in there, and you can use the remote to control the color and how bright it is and everything like that. The thing is, you can still use an LED to light up other things. In fact, I first used these when I was lighting up my paper village. Let's turn them on so you can see. See, I still use these. Let's turn off the light. You wouldn't have known I was using these because they were tucked behind it. But like, it still worked. So if you're, this is what you have, this is what you use, right? So these I feel like they have double duty. But they're particularly good for the edge lighting, right? That's really, let's get another design out. This is what I call this edge lighting. So here's the owl. So they're really, really good for edge lighting. So these night lights are typically a bit more expensive, and they start around $6 for a bulk pack. But there's various prices, and sometimes there's sales. Okay, so next up, let's set this aside here, is string lights. So, sorry, not string lights. There's actually a lot of terms here. LED strip lights. All right, so now who doesn't love their LED strip lights? So many of us use them, whether you opt for a battery pack or a plug. So they're both versions, but these are flexible strips that can really, really light up your projects in endless ways. You can use them to highlight artwork, you can make signs, you can even use them in your home for home decor, right? We actually have strip lights like this in our basement around one of our TVs. So the lowest price I've found for these lights is about $10 per 10-foot strip, but they do come in much longer versions and sometimes with colors too. So let me give you an example of one and how we use it. So this here is our winter shadow box kit, and this is a battery pack version of the light. Let's see if I can show you. So the way we have done this, let me just flip this over like this. There we go. Is we have, there's all the lights. Let's turn this on. See, this pack here, which is the one that is linked in the link right here at jennifermaker.com/LED lights. This one is all white. It's a warm white, but they actually have different colors, and you can switch between the various modes. That one goes in and out, and then there's one that is just regular, like this one. I know I can see that on my screen, it's kind of flickering, but this is steady. So keep that in mind. So as you look at these LED lights, if their flicker interferes with your monitor or my camera, it'll look like they're flickering, but they're not actually. So this is actually the steady one. But I don't like the way it looks. Let's move it so that, let's do this one. Okay. So what we've done is actually wrap these all around the back and then tape them down so that they illuminate the whole back. And then we put them onto the back of our shadow box like this. And there's a variety of different ways of doing this. Have them come out the little corner here. I put a little notch in the corner of the backer so that the little cable can come out right there. And then we get this gorgeous effect, right? So it's really pretty, it's really well illuminated, and we can see everything. And we need to go to a different one so we can see the lighting better. That one's okay, right? Maybe not that one. But so these are strip lights. So one of the things I want to show, there's many questions about these besides like how to use them. But let me turn the lights back on. Now this strip light here is a little bit different than the others, but I want to call your attention to, so do you see this little icon right here? It's a little scissors icon. You will find this in pretty much all strip lights that you can get, all LED strip lights. And so if you have a project and you just don't need all those lights, you can actually cut it right there without harming any of your circuits. Okay, so this is a cut mark. So it's quite common for you to, let's say you get some LED lights on a sale, but they're like 100 feet long and you just don't need that much. You can cut them down so long as you cut at the proper spot. Now, the next question I usually get is, can you use the part that you've cut off and, like for another project? So typically, well, the answer is always yes, but it's not usually easy. So my suggestion is to get the lights about the size you want, right? So 10 feet is really good for a shadow box if you're doing shadow boxes. You can certainly go bigger than that if you have another project, and just get them at a good price so that you don't mind discarding the part that you don't need, or just have some extra light, right? So they do sell kits that allow you, but like the work that goes into doing it is usually not worth it, I've discovered. So does anyone have any questions about strip lights before I move on to our last category of LED lights? Right, as Brenda says, they can be spliced, but you have to have, there's like little kits, you have to do the splicing, and for most of us, that's either we don't have the skill or we don't have the time. So it's usually not worth it. So that's my answer, is usually to not bother, right? It's just sort of extra that we don't need, right? Okay. All right. Well, then I'm super excited to show you this new one that I have. Let me just arrange all my lights up again here. Okay. I have everything. It's such a mess now. All right, so twinkly lights. So the next category, the last category really of LED lights are app-controlled LED lights. This is the future of LED lights. App-controlled LEDs are like the popular Twinkly, but there are some other brands as well. And with these, you can customize your lighting effects, colors, and patterns right from your smartphone or tablet, right? Whatever. It is like having a light show at your fingertips. These are so cool, in fact, that I want to show you exactly how they work, since I know that they're new for many of you, and we're going to demystify them for you so you can see how they work. So we are going to set up a set of twinkly strings together. Okay. If you like, these are really cool. They're in my list if you need to get them. They might be hard to get at this time of the year. Just keep that in mind. Okay. So this is an unopened box. So I bought these on Amazon. You can get them in other places too. So I like their packaging as well. So Twinkly Generation 2 strings, and it's a little postcard thing. Oh, look, stickers. They gave us stickers. Okay, we don't care about any of that. We do, but we don't. Okay, this is what they look like. And they just look like LED lights, right? They look like Christmas lights. And I think that's how, I don't actually know how Twinkly started, but a lot of people will use them as Christmas lights, but you can do so much with them. That's the really cool thing. So, and I will demonstrate all of that. All right, let's get everything out. So in here, we have our, control thing, whatever. And this, I don't have the names for these things, sorry. We have this, this, and this. Here's the lights. This looks like a converter, like a power converter. This is probably going to plug into our power supply, which I'm going to guess is over here. Yes, okay. So, right. There's probably instructions. Probably should read the instructions. But yeah, actually, this doesn't even look like instructions. It does. This is safety information. But this is all app controlled. This is how, oh, they're in here. So if you need to read the instructions, there are setup instructions in here. But I'm going to show you the simplest way to do this, the really easy way. So this just screws right into the whatever we call this part. What do we call this part? The plug. It screws into the plug. Oh, wait, I know. What we do is we need to put this in here. Make sure, so see right here, there is a little plug, and then at this end, so we need to put that in there properly. Try the other way. I'm not sure I'm getting it in there right. It looks to me like it's one of the other ways, so forgive me, I got to get this right, or it won't work. There we go. There. Okay. And then this screws on like this. There we go. Okay. And let's take this apart. I figured it out, Greg. He's coming out to rescue me. Greg got these twinkly lights last year, and he set them all up for me. And I'm just like, oh, they're pretty. And I didn't really get it. So this is my first year actually getting to do it myself. And that's when I fell in love with them, when I could see how they work. This is amazing. This is so cool. All right, so let's take these all out. So this is the string set. They actually come in many different varieties. I'm going to show you another one later. Okay, let's set this aside. We're going to plug this in. Might have to get a little extra here. It's actually got a pretty long cord here, see? I don't know what that is. It looks like almost like 6 to 8 feet. All right, let's plug it in over here. So once you've got them plugged in, your this device here is going to flash. See how it's flashing green like this? And so we need to press this so it becomes available to be found. Okay, so I'm going to press and hold it, and it should turn blue. There we go. Do you see how that turned blue for us? Okay, so we've got that. I'm going to move it out of the way now. Okay, so let's go to our Twinkly app. So again, you can download the app from the App Store. I've already got it. And we go there. And then let's move all the way back to the home screen, which looks something like this. So we want to add a device. So we go to the devices in the corner, and then we tap on this add button in the top left corner. And it says searching for devices. And so because we turned on our Wi-Fi search button right here on this device, it will look for it. Now, we know that from the instructions, which we're not following, that this is a generation 2. It says so right here, right? And you can see on the screen that there are options. So this is a generation 2. So we're going to tap that right there, just like this, and it's going to establish a connection via Bluetooth. It is really cool. So if you have a smartphone, you can do this. That's all you need. All right, device is detected. So I'm going to say next. So you have the option to do your own Wi-Fi at home. Most of us have it these days. If you don't, you could do direct Wi-Fi, but I have Wi-Fi here in our studio, and I'm going to tap on that top option right here. And it is going to scan for available Wi-Fi networks. It found one. That's not mine though. This one's mine. And then I'm going to connect to it. So you'll just need to look for your own, and it changed as like to give us a visual indicator that it's connected. I saw that. So it's looking for the device. Firmware update. So this often happens when you have a new set of lights. So I'm just going to go ahead and say OK. And so they'll turn off when it's doing the firmware update. And that it's just like making sure that it's all up to date, because these are smart lights. These are not your typical lights. It's like literally connecting there. Okay, so joining the Wi-Fi network. We've done that. So it says, please name your new lights. So we're going to call these. What should we call these? I'm just going to call these strings, because that's the name of these particular lights, right? There's like a helpful little thing there, but these are strings. There's other ones too. All right, so then press return, and now we're just on save. All right, so now we need to map our lights. So the mapping, actually, the way you do it is, it actually tells you what to do here, but you just want to hold your phone over your lights so your camera will come on, and I'm going to stand up to do this. So I'm going to tap on Map Lights, and you have a choice between easy and advanced. I just do easy, okay? And then next. And it gives you some tips about reflective surfaces and all that sort of thing. And you want to be in a moderate ambient light, not too dark. So I think probably we're okay. We'll give it a try. Also, one important thing, I have my lights just set out here like this for our demonstration, but you should put your lights where you want them before you do your mapping. Okay, so let's say you wanted to use your lights in a display, right? So you would want to put them in the display before you do this mapping set part. You can always remap your lights later. It's okay if you do it. It's fine. All right, but I'm going to do it right here so you can see how cool this is. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on. Let's wait for, there we go. Next. Okay. So now you want to position your phone right over your lights, and then you're going to need to hold your phone, your camera really steady while it maps. And there is a bar here, this little bar at the top. See, wait till that's done. And it like mapped the lights in real time. Do you see all these little dots here? That's the exact placement of our lights right now. So you could do all sorts of amazing things. I'm just going to demonstrate this part for you. Okay, so you can decide if that looks good, and it does. And this next part is where all the fun part happens. So it's compiling effects for your device. And so you say start using app. And now you get to have effects. So let's turn the lights down so you can see what this looks like. Because these are just lights. Make sure. Okay, so this is like the default. Just sort of, it's really pretty. You can see how it's kind of glowing, right? But with the phone, these are all lighting patterns that they're already like mapped out for you. So let's just choose some of these so you can see. So this is rainbow. Isn't this cool? And then if you want it, you would say apply, but we're going to keep playing with it. Snake, bright twinkle, candy cane. And it's like this is a sunset. This is so pretty. Imagine this in a shadow box. I mean, my goodness. Pale rainbow. I mean, you can actually even like program it yourself. I haven't gone that far. This one is really pretty, paradise, and it's got all these twinkly effects to it. So this is not, I think a lot of people might think, oh, cool Christmas lights. This is so much more than cool Christmas lights. This is one of my favorites, 24 karat future, right? I'm going to say apply on this, and then I'm going to show you what, I'm going to give you another demonstration of how you might use this. Okay, so last night we put the twinkly lights on this display because they were so cool. So let's turn off the lights so you can see. Actually, let's start by turning them on. This is what it looks like with no lights on, okay? This is what it looks like with a 24 karat light effect. Look at it, like glowing and twinkling. I mean, it's so cool. I'm going to show you with the lights off. I mean, look at this. It is so neat. And I can use my phone to control it. So I will just go select its devices. I called it Countdown Village Display. And I can redo its like mapping and stuff. So I can choose different effects. Turned it off. You can control it completely from your app. So let's see what, we can just try playing with it, right? Seeing what other ones we can do. We don't want that. We want all of the, hang on a second. There we go. Okay, so this is the 24 karat gold. So let's try these same effects, and these are the strings, by the way. This is the strings, the same thing. So this is rainbow. I obviously really like this. This is bright twinkle. Candy cane. Oh my goodness. Waves. It's just so cool. And like you would have complete control over this if you want to, right? Or they have all these presets. This one is called Glow. This one is called Cool Sky. So imagine being able to use this for your displays and for your projects, right? This is the 24 karat future. This one is called Bliss. I could just go on and on. This is the one I have at home. It's called Rosy Valentine. I have a wreath, and I have some string lights, and I have a garland that's up right now in my room. But I've already told Greg that after Christmas is over, we are getting other twinkly lights to put into my room so I can have them year round because they're just so cool. There's crazy ones. This is tartan. This is unicorn sun. Solar sparkle. And again, I'm just choosing them all from my phone, right? I'm just choosing them. That's all I'm doing. And dreamy flow. So it's really, really, really cool. And I want everyone to know how cool these are because I'm excited about them. So let's put them back onto, did anyone have a favorite like that you liked? I thought that what looked really good with this was, well, here's paradise. Oh, that's just too much. No, let's go back to 24 karat future. Yeah, that's pretty. That's pretty. All right, so I'm going to tap, and then you would just tap. It's going to fall here. Then I'm just trying to show you my phone. Then you just, when you're ready to actually set it, you just tap apply. It turns off, but then it applies it. So that's it. That's all there is to it. You can control them right from your phone. You can have fun. There's all sorts of things that you can do with these. And I think they're really cool. All right, let's turn my lights back on. There we go. So actually, and I wanted to show you that they come in different styles actually. So these are the strings. They're, pretty traditional. But they have a lot of different things that you can do. So make sure that if you get these, that you are looking at the options. So another one of the options is called dots. And they come in a box like this. And they're smaller. I think they're cheaper. I don't have them in my list yet, but I'll look for them. But they're actually USB powered. So got my USB plug over here. Go. I'm going to plug them in right here. You see this? I know they're very bright. I'm going to try to space them out a little bit more. But they're like on this really flexible white wire, and they're like dots, right? But they do the same thing. It has the same effect. So we can turn it on right now for Bluetooth. Use the phone the same way. Is it blue yet? There it is. It's blue now, right? Oops, can't show everyone my password. All right, so here we are. So we add a device right here, just like this, searching for devices, and it will do the same thing, right? So these are called dots. So they're lighter, they're more flexible, and they're just these little plastic LED dots, right? They're really neat. All right, so I don't know if it's generation 2. Yes, generation 2 it says on the box here. So we select that. It's establishing the connection. Next. So it's actually, once you know what you're doing, it's really easy to set up. We select our network. It's applying the Wi-Fi settings. It'll probably have to do a firmware update just like before. Robin says, can you log out with your phone while the lights are shining, and will they keep working? Yes. My lights are at home right now, and my phone isn't even near it. So yes, you can, your phone can be powered off. You don't need your phone to control your lights. You just need you don't need your phone to keep your lights on. You just need your phone to change your light pattern, right? Does that make sense? So you're using the app to control the lighting effects, but you turn off your phone, you lose your battery, your lights will stay on. Triva says, what is the name of these lights? These are called Twinkly, and these are the dots. I don't know that it says on here, but these are Twinkly dots. So these are dots, and then we have strings, which are these, right? These are the strings. And then they also have other things. There's like panels and curtains, and they have all sorts of holiday things that I'm not even getting into. Okay, so save that. These are dots. You can see it says right on here that they are indeed dots. Give that a chance to focus for us. There we go, dots, right? So save. We'll call these dots so we can control these. And you'll do the same thing where you will map them out. So again, you'd want to put, let's say you were using these in a shadow box. That would be so cool. You'd want to put them into your shadow box, right? So I feel like you could totally do the whole thing that I showed you before and just put them in the back, in a nice lines like this. We'll kind of simulate it if we can right now. Right, and then tape them down. So you've got a nice background of lights. It's not very neat, but you get the idea, right? So they go in the back of your shadow box like that. You set them out there. There we go. It's close. All right. So you put them into place, and then you say map lights, and you find them. Make sure they're all showing. There we go. And then you start mapping. It'll give you a countdown. Keep your phone as still as you can. And at the top of your screen, you'll see a progress bar. Keep your phone still. There we go. And you can see it maps the exact spots. So if you were doing a shadow box, imagine putting the lights exactly where you wanted them to be. So the sun has a sun color, or, you know, like in this project right here, you could have red behind the truck, and you could have yellow behind the sun, right? So you could put the dots in those exact spots, right, for whatever your effect is. All right, so I'm going to say okay. And then that's it, right? The possibilities are amazing. Yes, there are candies, and Angela says they are a little pricey. Oh, yes, they are. This is not the route to go if you're looking for inexpensive. This is the route to go if you're looking for, oh my gosh, this is amazing. All right. But hey, I showed you the full range, so you get to choose. So it's the same idea. So we get to pick. There's paradise, and it's all the same options, even with these smaller ones, right? Eclipse. It's really pretty. I tried that one before. Pale rainbow. So all of the options. Super cool. Okay. So that was neat. That was fun. All right. I actually love crafting with LED lights. But I think that it's like sometimes, especially when you're new to using LEDs, you just don't know which one that you want to do. So let me give you a few tips, right? So first, when you're picking out your LED light, consider the color temperature of your LEDs. If we're using the twinkly lights, we get to pick whatever color we want. But if we're going with something basic like a tea light, they come in a color, right? So consider the color temperature of your LEDs. Use warm white for a cozy feel and cool white for a modern look, or again, experiment with cool lights like this, right? There's so many possibilities. This is like, it's changing to rainbows as I'm touching it. That I really, really like these app controlled lights, obviously. All right, so yes, so the RGB LEDs have endless color possibilities. And then you want to choose the right power source, right? To think about where your project's going to be. It might be batteries. It might be a plug-in adapter. There's even rechargeable options. These twinkly dots that I have right here are USB. See the little USB thing on there? You see them? It's down there somewhere, right? So USB. So you would need to have a USB source if you wanted to use these, right? So that's important to keep. So think about what your power needs are, whether is it near a plug? Can you use a plug? Can it use Bluetooth? You know, you can just, if it's near a plug, you can just plug in your Bluetooth adapter, no big deal, right? And then always prioritize safety. This is safety first, right? So securely fasten your wires, keep battery packs away from water or heat sources, always be safe. And remember, always use LEDs. Stay away from those incandescent bulbs or real flame. And there you have it. This is, I'm hoping, an ultimate guide to choosing the right LED lights for your craft projects. I hope this video inspired you to get creative and add some sparkle to your DIY endeavors. Now, if you'd like to get any of the projects that I showed in this video, our Christmas tree, our star lanterns, our village, our Christmas shadow box kit, they're all free over on my blog at jennifermaker.com. Check the video description for the links for everything. And that's it for today. Until next time, this is Jennifer Maker reminding you to craft a life you love.